HCTV Sports is supported by the Spool House. From prom to...
Did you see that? Great diving play. He's hit a touchdown. Hastings Raiders win the ball game.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into the Hastings Middle School pool for another edition of Girls Swim and Dive here on HCTV Sports. My name is Hunter Pinky. I am the sports director here at Hastings Community Television. Thanks for joining us here on your Thursday night. Should be a good one. Two top teams in the Metro East Conference. Mahtomedi, always competitive. Hastings, always competitive, sending a few individuals to state each year. Mahtomedi had the pleasure of competing at the Maroon and Gold invite at the U of M campus, Gene E. Freeman Aquatic Center, I believe. So, always going to be a great matchup. We saw these teams a couple of years ago. I believe Mahtomedi got the edge here, but Hastings looking for a little revenge game here tonight. And just if you're new to swimming, they will do JV intermixed during the evening, just because it would be a little bit hard to do all JV events and all varsity events. So to start off tonight, we'll start with the JV medley relay. Hastings will be the only team. No, Mahtomedi is the only squad sending out a couple of swimmers in lanes 2 and 4. As we are set to go here from the middle school pool. In lane number 2. In lane number 2, starting us off will be Julia Goldshine, and leading us off will be Jocelyn Parker of Mahtomedi High School, the senior. So quickly, lane 4 coming out to an early lead in this contest. Again, this is an exhibition JV heat. Thanks for joining us here. We are live on YouTube and HCTV 799 alongside Suburban Community Channels in the Tartan, Mahtomedi, and White Bear Lake coverage area. They have a soccer doubleheader going on tonight. I'll try to see if I can get scores for the Mahtomedi fans throughout the contest tonight. I will check my phone. But now into the pool is, I believe, Carolyn Potcher in lane number 2, and then lane number 4, Ada Torrey, the 8th grader. Again, lane 4 coming out to a commanding lead early in this one. And again, if you're new to swimming as well, pool is 25 yards down to the opposite end. So down and back would be 50. So each swimmer competing going down and back one time and then giving way. So next into the water will be, I believe, Maddie Hansen. Then into the pool for lane number 2, Morgan Sitch. And lane 4 coming out to a strong lead from Mahtomedi, and it's a good opportunity to get some swimming experience. Hastings has a smaller squad here. I don't see any senior banners hung up this year, so maybe a changing of the guard here for the Raiders. All underclassmen and juniors. So I graduated a few. Obviously, Raider great Warren Jenkins graduating a couple years ago. Now into the pool for Mahtomedi will be Maddie Sorensen and then Charlotte Boyum. Again, lane 4 has been dominating this race all night, and seems they're going to be taking it here as we get set up for the varsity heat up next, as she does finish her race with a time of 2:28.02. And lane number 2 will finish with a time of I believe it was 2:32, but it didn't register on the scoreboard, unfortunately. What a fun way to start the night with the JV Heat. Don't forget, if you're watching on YouTube, please let us know where you're watching from, who you're rooting for. I'll try to address comments as we go through the show. So now we get set for the varsity heat. Again, Hastings tonight will be in lanes 1, 3, and 5. Mahtomedi will be in 2, 4, and 6. Let's go through your race lineups here. For the Raiders in lane 1, Aaliyah Clark, Ansley Hagel, Mari Hall, Mary Schulk. In lane number 3 will be Emma Demlow, Chloe Arness, Maddie Ritter, Lila Salzman, and then in lane 5 for the Raiders, Lil Burks, Greta Larson, Jenna Aronson, and Emery Malm. And in the Mahtomedi lineups, in lane 2 will be Rorv Jewel, followed by Ruby Roich, Claire Lane, and Evelyn Kumpanya. Apologize if I butchered that one. In lane 4 will be Riley Parzek, Aria Armstrong, Lena Granovsky, and then Delaney Dummermuth. And then in lane 6 will be Kiki Thiam, Sophia Goodwin, Claire Reinda, and then Julia Dehan. So Raiders off to an early lead, tight gap here in lanes 3 and 4, and that's kind of where you'll see the tightest race will be in those middle lanes. As we see the next set of divers into the water for both squads, I believe it'll be Chloe Arnett and Aria Armstrong. And tight race up the middle here. Neck and neck here, literally arms length apart, as Hastings got a great dive off the starting block, slowly extending that lead here. Teammates cheering at the line. And incredibly tight here in the middle. Who's going to get their arm first? And it will be the Raiders, but not before on. She made up the gap with a great push. Raiders going to have to swim hard here to narrow the gap. I believe that was Lila Saltzman and now Delaney Dummermuth into the water for the Raiders. And who's going to get it? It looks like Mahtomedi got to an arm's length race here. Who's going to get it? And it's going to be the Hastings Raiders, just barely taking it over the Mahtomedi Zephyrs in that first race. And we'll get the Zephyrs taking that third place spot, and the Raiders will take that fourth spot. Still competing for fifth in lanes 1 and 5. And it looks like Mahtomedi will claim that fifth place spot, with the Raiders coming shortly behind them next. And getting that sixth place spot with the time of 2:25. Winning times 1:57.50, and in second place was 1:57.73. So next up, we have the 200-yard freestyle.
What was that question again? I'm so sorry.
For the JV heat. So again, remind viewers new to swimming, down and back is 50 yards. And this time, not a relay. It will just be individual swimmers. Apologize too if I had the wrong race order to start the day. First swimming broadcast of the year. I'm still kind of getting into my flow as an announcer. First time on the call this season for at the pool. And again, if I butcher any names or anything like that, please let us know in the comments, and I'll address them as quickly as I can. Camera operators today, Avery Cheeseman, Max Slocum, and on handheld, Will Celine. So trying to a handheld camera today, which we haven't had normally. Apologize for muting there. Got a couple of fans asking where to tune into the live feed tonight. So we're live on YouTube. Once again, thanks to HCTV for carrying us tonight. So we're looking to reset here for this JV heat. Full lineup too for the JV heat. Only 2 Mahtomedi swimmers. They will be swimming in 2 and 4. Raiders will be in 1, 3, 5, and 6. And we are underway for the third event of the night. In lane 1, Caden Butler. In lane 2, Charlotte Boyum. In lane 3, Amelia Kraus. In lane 4, Tori Harnish. In lane 5, Sydney Iverson. And in lane 6, Ray Wojcik. Quickly, Mahtomedi off to a commanding lead in lane 4. That is Harnish. Pretty tight race for that second place spot between Boyum and Kraus. About an arm's length apart for in lanes 2 and 3, but first place seemingly pretty commanding lead here in the early stages. Lots of time though, and not the longest race we'll have tonight. Later we'll have the 500-yard freestyle, so one, you still have to pace yourself and take your time, but again, we'll have a little bit more energy for that final push once you hit the final lap. Kind of a tight race in lanes 5 and 6 as well. In lanes 5 and 6, once again, are Iverson and Wojcik. Harnish off to a commanding lead here as lane 2. Boyum just hits the turn, and the Hastings Raiders not far behind with Kraus. We had to make a change, too, to our swimming schedule in case we have any other swimming fans tuned in for the Hastings Raiders side. Initially we're supposed to be here on September 4th for a duel with North St. Paul, but right when I finished my schedule, a month later, they changed it because North St. Paul and Tartan became a co-op as Mahtomedi hits the final turn. Again, once again, that is Harnish for Mahtomedi, but we're supposed to be here for North St. Paul Tartan, but again, that date got changed when they combined to be a co-op. They were doing that for the boys, but first time with the girls. So it makes sense. Those two always tend to partner up. For hockey, on the boys' side, girls' side, those two tend to partner up a lot. Good partnership between those two schools. Good ADs over at both schools as Mahtomedi looking to close the gap here in lane number 4 and will take the win here as it's tight race in lanes 2 and 3 between Kraus and Boyum. Looking like Mahtomedi has the edge right now, but one final little push will seal the deal for the Zephyrs, taking the top 2 spots here in this JV exhibition. Good luck on your screen. Want to shout out to our director, Ian Andersack, for filling in for me, too, so I can call this game tonight. Usually I'm the one pushing the buttons, switching the cameras and the graphics and stuff, but Ian's filling in for me tonight. It's nice not to have to do 10 different jobs on a single night like some games, so thank you, Ian and crew, for coming out tonight. As we got a tight race in lanes 4 and 5 between Iverson and Wojcik. And it will be lane number 5, Iverson taking it, and we'll round it out with Butler. As you get a good look at the scores and times on your screen as we move to the varsity side of things tonight. Went through their lineups once they enter the pool. Now everyone's in the water here. Hastings off to a narrow lead in lane number 3. Here's your race lineup for this 200-yard freestyle. In lane 1 for the Raiders, Hannah Hewer, followed by Avery Hensel, Sophia Kovalenko in lane 3, Abigail Wright in lane 4, Emma Leonard in lane 5, and in lane 6, Danny Baker. So Raiders off to an early lead, but once again, tight gap in lanes 3 and 4. Mahtomedi is doing a nice job kind of keeping that second place spot under wraps as well. Mahtomedi now taking the edge over the Raiders here. Raiders in the yellow caps, Mahtomedi in the blue and yellow caps. Making the turn now are Wright and Kovalenko. Kovalenko is going to need to find a burst here before the final leg. But good pace from both swimmers. Now lane 5 kind of creeping up. Mahtomedi looking to take almost all the top places here. As the gap starting to wide here for Wright. And it's looking like Wright has this pretty much locked up here unless Kovalenko can find some extra gas in the tank. Good shot of Wright on your screen as she gets ready for that final turn. Kovalenko needs to give a final push for the Raiders to close the gap. And it's going to be the Mahtomedi Zephyrs that take it with a sub 2-minute time for that initial 200-yard relay. Hastings will take that second place spot. Now it's a fight for third. It's looking like lane 5 might take it. In lane 5, that's Emma Leonard. And lane 6 got it. And lane 6 is Danny Baker. Apologize, still kind of ironing out the bugs tonight, and Mahtomedi will take the first place spot. So once again, Mahtomedi doing a nice job narrowing the gap here as the team scores coming into this was 8-6. But while we got a break in the action, I think we got to thank one of our supporters tonight. We want to thank the Spool House for supporting HCTV Sports. HCTV Sports is supported by the Spool House. From prom to weddings, let us suit your formal wear needs. More information can be found at thespoolhouse.com/sewing.html. So next, we move to the 200-yard IM. This is just purely a varsity heat. And in running through your lineups, again, Hastings in lanes 1, 3, and 5. Mahtomedi 2, 4, 6. In lane 1, Mary Schulk, followed by Lena Granovsky, followed by Emma Demlow, Aria Armstrong, Jenna Aronson, and then Ruby Roich will round us out. Mahtomedi and Hastings throwing a few 8th graders in this, having 3 compete, and Mahtomedi is throwing out a 7th grader in this race as well. Hastings off to a lead here in lane number 3. Once again, that is Emma Demlow. Aria Armstrong not far behind. Team scores as we sit on the scoreboard, 17-13 in favor of the Mahtomedi Zephyrs. Clinching those 2nd and 3rd place spots help their point total significantly there. As you can see in the IM too, they do every form of stroke in swimming. We're now on the breaststroke. Once again, too, want to thank our officials for being here tonight. Two referees here tonight. You can see them on the sides of the pool on our wide shot once we have that. Again, Mahtomedi closing the gap here for that first place spot. Demlo's lead has started to shorten up, and everyone has their strong type of stroke, but now we've moved to the freestyle. Mahtomedi is gaining some ground here. Demlo's going to lose her first place spot if she's not careful. Armstrong has a lead now here. Mahtomedi is going to steal it here. And the Zephyrs are going to claim that first place spot here in the IM. Hastings will follow up in that number 2 spot. Again, that was Armstrong and Demlo in number 1 and 2. Mahtomedi once again looking to claim that third place spot. And that fourth place spot in lane number 2. That was Granovsky, and in lane number 6, that was Roich. And then Hastings will round out the final 2 positions. In lane number 1, still swimming, is Mary Schulk. And getting in that 5th place spot in lane number 5, that was Arneson. So next we'll move to the JV freestyle, 50-yard freestyle. So this is a super quick race here. Just down and back one time, swim as fast as you can. Once again, thanks for joining us. There will actually be 2 JV heats coming up. So this first JV heat, we only have racers in lanes 2 through 6. It's an all Mahtomedi. Actually, it's all Mahtomedi for these 2 heats. So going through your lineups here in lane 2, Morgan Sitch, Maddie Hansen, Carolyn Potcher, Madeline Sorensen, and Julia Goldshine. So down and back, pretty tight race top to bottom here. Lane 4, lane 5. Coming out with the lead here, and that's Sorensen. And it's looking like Sorensen will take it. And then in lane number 4, Potcher goes second place. Ooh, actually, she might got third. Nope, it is correct. And then in third place will be Maddie Hansen. And a couple of Zephyrs finishing up as well. And again, to remind viewers, there is a second heat of this for JV. It's a second JV heat coming up, and then we will move to varsity. But while we have a moment in the action, let's thank another one of our supporters. I want to thank HCTV Sports is supported by Culver's of Hastings. From savory butterburgers to sweet scoops of frozen custard, we've got something handcrafted for everyone. You can visit us at our location next to Cup Foods in Hastings. More information available at culvers.com. Once again, thanks to all of our supporters. As the second JV heat is underway, Julia Dehan in lane 2. In lane 4, Evelyn Cunyapanya and Jocelyn Parker in lane 6. And it's lane number 4 coming out to a commanding lean. Cunyapanya will take this JV heat. She's the first one to hit the padding on the wall. And if you're ever wondering too, you can see they have manual timers as well behind the starting blocks, because they have these Daktronic pads in the water that their hand has to touch. And it will stop the clock, but sometimes it bugs or they don't hit it hard enough. So they have the backup timers there just in case there's a technical issue there. So now we're set for the varsity heat here. Once again, down and back race here. Hastings in lanes 1, 3, and 5. Mahtomedi 2, 4, 6. Going through this race lineup here, Aaliyah Clark, Adeline Miller, Lila Salzman, Delaney Dummermuth, Emery Malm and Maddie Ruppel out of Mahtomedi. Tight race in the middle lanes here. It's looking like Mahtomedi has the edge, but a good push from the Raiders keeps it close. Who's gonna get to the to the block first? It's neck and neck in those middle lanes. Who's got that first place spot? And it is the Mahtomedi Zephyrs in lane number 2. Adeline Miller takes it over Lila Salzman, who does collect second place, followed by Delaney Dummermuth in that third place spot. Man, tight race. 50 free when you see everyone giving it all. Oh my goodness. Milliseconds away from each other. As you can see the scores, you can see how close the gap was. Look at lanes 2, 3, and 4, literally within a second of each other. So once again, great way to start off our swim meet here. So thanks for joining us, everybody. We have to get set for diving here in-house, so we are going to take a brief break here. So once again, thanks for choosing to spend your Thursday night with us. The Mahtomedi Zephyrs are leading the Hastings Raiders 39-23. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. We'll take a quick break, and we will be back for diving here in a little bit. Don't go anywhere.
Today, 4 Minnesotans lost their lives from fentanyl poisoning.
And 4 more will tomorrow.
Fentanyl is the #1 killer of 18 to 45-year-olds.
It's killing more and more 12 to 17-year-olds. They're people we care about.
Like my brother.
My sister.
My best friend.
We have the power to make a difference in our community. Join us in the fight against the fentanyl crisis.
He gets the pin. What a move, what a goal! Oh, and a shot scores! The Raiders, can they get the lift? Yes, they do.
Just snipes one.
Oh my God! And reaching up and making the play. It's moving! It's over!
Looking to throw, and she's going to get the first down.
Gone! Touchdown Raiders!
Welcome back into the middle school pool here in Hastings, Minnesota, as we are set for diving here. If you're new to diving, 6th round of diving. They will sort of mix in JV exhibition divers alongside, so do 6 total rounds of diving. Pretty full slate tonight. Both teams sending out, I think, the near maximum of divers. Raiders sending out. Mahtomedi will send out 5 divers this evening, while Hastings will send out 4 per round. PA announcer Stephanie Mom going over through the proper etiquette, so I will have to keep my voice down just a little bit here, as we don't want to detract from our divers' performances here. Once again, thanks for joining us here. Hunter Pinky on the call. Production crew: Ian Andersack, Will Celine, Avery Cheeseman, Max Slocum.
1 somersault, 1 hand or half twist, free. 1.7.
So here's our first diver, Adelie Schroeder. As her first scores are a 4, 4, and a 3. 1.7 degree difficulty, 1 forward somersault with a half twist from the free position. That was hers. Next up is Ainsley Hagel of the Hastings Raiders. A 1 forward somersault with a half twist from the free position, a 1.7 degree of difficulty. As a whole pile of chairs just fell down behind a whole pile of chairs fell behind the diving block, as you can see on. Hopefully we can get a shot of it here. There it is. All the chairs just fell down, so they're setting it back up. So just when we talk about having to be a little quiet here, and it was purely an accident, but a bunch of chairs fall over. Love to see it, but once again, this is Ainsley Hagel. Forward 1 somersault with a half twist from the free position, 1.7 degree of difficulty. And they're gonna rule, I believe they're gonna rule incomplete dive, unfortunately for the Raiders here. So no score on that dive, failed attempt. Next up is Ruby Greer for the Zephyrs. Forward 1 somersault, 1 twist from the free position, a 1.8 degree of difficulty.
Forward 1 somersault, 1 twist, free. 1.8.
So we'll see what Mahtomedi has here. Wonderful dives there. It's 4.5, 4.5, and 4.5 all the way around.
Up next is Mari.
So next up is Mari Hall of the Hastings Raiders. Back 1 somersault with a half twist, free, 1.7 degree of difficulty. Six, 5.5, 5.5. So that's a great dive from the Raiders. And so up next is Grace Dobler from the Zephyrs. Forward 1 somersault, 1 twist free, 1.8 degree of difficulty. Again, if you're wondering, for the judges, 1 Hastings coach and 1 Zephyr coach, and then it'll be 1 MSHSL official, and the second MSHSL official is the recorder. 4, 4.5, 4. So they have 1 MSHSL official recording the scores, and then 1 coach from each team, and a MSHSL official will fill the gap. Greta Larson at the end of the board, 1.8 degree difficulty back, 1.5 somersault, 1 half twist, and free position. A little close to the diving board on that one, but still gets a 5, 5.5, and a 5. Ooh. I saw a few people cover their eyes on that one, but a great dive nonetheless. Addison Eitel on a Mahtomedi, 1.8 degree difficulty forward, 1 somersault, 1 twist, free. Score was 5.5, 5.5. Mahtomedi showing why they're a top team in the conference here. Next is Chloe Arness out of the Hastings Raiders. 5132D, 1.8 degree difficulty. Forward 1.5 somersault, 1 twist, free. A splendid dive. 6.5, 6.5, 6.5. Couple of half points off the Devils number, but a great showing from Arness as Shayla Murphy on the board. 5231D, 1.8 degree difficulty, back 1.5 somersault with 1/2 twist, free. And here we go. Another nice dive as well. A 7.7 and 6.5. Wow, Mahtomedi showing up there on that dive. Great dive by Murphy. Now we move to round 2, 101. This is Adelie Schroeder, 101C, 1.2 degree difficulty, a forward dive from the tuck position. 4.5, 4 and a 4. Another nice dive there from Schroeder. Ainsley Hagel for the Hastings Raiders, 201A, 1.7 degree of difficulty, a back dive from the straight position. Four and a half, 5 and a 4.
5, 4.5, 4. Up next is Ruby, 101C, forward dive tuck.
Next up, Ruby Greer, 101C, 1.2 degree of difficulty, a forward dive from the tuck position. Four and a half, 4.5, 4.5, 4.5 and a 4.
4.5. Up next is Mari, 5231D, back 1.5 somersault, half twist.
Next up is Mari Hall for the Raiders, 5231D, 2.1 degree of difficulty, back 1.5 somersault with a half twist from that free position. Four, 4.5. Barely got that dive completed. Next up is Grace Dobler for the Zephyrs, 301C, 1.6 degree of difficulty, a reverse dive from the tuck. Four and a half, 4.5, 4.5. As consistent as you can get it. Next is Greta Larson, 104C, 2.2 degree of difficulty, forward with 2 somersaults from the tuck. So we'll see what Greta Larson has for us here. More difficult dive with that 2.2 degree of difficulty. And here we go. 6, 6.5, and a 6. So good scores from Greta Larson. And once again, avoiding the Devils number is Addison Eitel on the board. 402C, 1.6 degree difficulty, inward, 1 somersault from the tuck. 5.5, 5.5, and a 5 for the Zephyrs. Next up, Chloe Arnez of the Hastings Raiders, 104B, 2.3 degree difficulty. Forward 2 somersaults from the pike. Excellent dive as we get 7s across the board. Lucky 7s. She should go to the casino once she's 18 if she keeps diving like that.
1.5 somersault, pike, 2.4.
Next up will be Shayla Murphy, Mahtomedi Zephyrs, 403B, inward 1.5 somersault from the pike, 2.4 degree of difficulty. Ooh, she got a little close to the diving board on that one. 6, 6, 6 across the board. Still an excellent dive, but I thought her foot clipped the board and kind of made me a little nervous there on that dive. So next, now we're back to the top of the order for round 3. Adelie Schroeder, 102C, forward 1 somersault from the tuck in a 1.4 degree difficulty, and she enters the water. 5, 4.5, 4.5. Next up is Ainsley Hagel, 5211A, back dive, 1.5 twist straight, 1.8 degree of difficulty. Five, 4.5, 4.5.
Our next diver is Ruby.
Next is Ruby Greer, 103C, 1.6 degree difficulty, forward 1.5 somersault tuck. Five, 4, 4.5. Next up will be Mari Hall, 5132D, forward 1.5 somersaults, 1 twist free, 2.2 degree of difficulty. Taking her time, getting her composure here on the board. Excellent dive as we get a 6, 5.5, and a 6. Grace Dobler now, 302C, reverse 1 somersault tuck, 1.6 degree of difficulty. We get a 5, 5, and 5. Another consistent number there as we get Greta Larson heading to the board. 301A, reverse dive straight, 1.8 degree of difficulty. A 6.5, 5.5, and a 6.
6.5, 5.5.
Addison Eitel, 103C, forward 1.5 somersault tuck, 1.6 degree of difficulty. Sometimes I'm in perfect sync with Stephanie Malm, the PA announcer, so it sometimes throws my head off a little bit, but here we go. A 4.5, 4.5, and a 5.
4.5, 4.5.
Next up is Chloe Arnez, 105C, forward 2.5 somersault tuck, 2.4 degree of difficulty. Excellent dive, 6.5, 6, and 6. Next up, Shayla Murphy, 203B back, 1.5 somersault pike, 2.3 degree of difficulty. Gonna see some of the more difficult dives kind of towards the back half of the round lineup. So we'll see what Mahtomedi can do here. Six, 5.5, and a 6. As we now move to round 4. It'll be Adley Schroeder, 201. Excuse me. Apologize, lost track. That was Adley Schroeder. This is round 4. Ainsley Hagel, 401B. Inward dive from the pike, 1.5 degree of difficulty. That last dive was a 201A back dive straight, 1.7. Five and a half, 5, and a 5. Next up is Ruby Greer. 401C inward dive from the tuck, a 1.4 degree of difficulty. Five, 4, and 4.5. Next up is Mari Hall, 203C, back 1.5 somersault tuck, 2.0 degree of difficulty. So her most difficult dive of the evening so far. Five and a half, 5, and 5. Next up is Grace Dobler, 202C, back 1 somersault tuck, 1.5 degree of difficulty. Excellent dive. There's 5, 5, 5. Next up is Addison Eitel. 202A, back 1 somersault straight, 1.7 degree of difficulty. Six, 6, 5.5. Next up is Chloe Arness. 203B, back 1.5 somersault from the pike, and a 2.3 degree of difficulty. So, getting up there in difficulty. Another excellent showing is 6, 6.5, and 7. Next up is Shayla Murphy, 303C, reverse 1.5 somersault, 2.1 degree of difficulty. This is also a tuck. Six, 7, and 7. Another good showing. And now we move to round 5. A couple of shorter rounds as the JV dives have concluded. Now we get Ainsley Hagel, 102B forward, 1 somersault from the pike, 1.5 degree difficulty. Five and a half, 4.5, and 4. Mari Hall up next for Hastings, 403C, inward 1.5 somersault tuck with a 2.2 degree of difficulty. Four and a half, 4.5, 4. Next up is Grace Dobler, 401C inward dive tuck, 1.4. 5.55, another consistent dive across the board. Next up is Greta Larson, 203C, back 1.5 somersault, tuck, 2.0 degree of difficulty. Large of a splash, but a solid dive. 5.5, 5.5. Next up is Addison Itel, 5.222D, back 1 somersault, 1 twist free, 1.9 degree of difficulty. Four and a half, 5.5, and a 5. Next up is Chloe Arness for the Raiders, 403B, inward 1.5 somersault, pike, 2.4 degree of difficulty. Got a 5.5, 5.5, and a 6.5. Shayla Murphy up next for the Zephyrs, 104B, forward 2 somersaults pike, a 2.3 degree of difficulty on this dive. Apologize for having internet issues as well. It's been a little strange. 6.5, 6, 6.5. Now back to the final round of our diving tonight. Round 6, Ainsley Hagel, 103C, forward 1.5 somersault, tuck, 1.6 degree of difficulty. Five, 5.5. Next up is Mari Hall, 104C, forward 2 somersaults, tuck, 2.2 degree difficulty. 5.5, 5.5, 5. Next is Grace Dobler for the Zephyrs, 103C, forward 1.5 somersault tuck, 1.6 degree of difficulty. Five and a half, 5 and 5. Next up, Greta Larson for the Raiders, 201A, back dive straight, 1.7 degree of difficulty. Great height on that dive as we get a 7, 7, and 6. Next up is Addison Eitel for the Mahtomedi Zephyrs, 5.223D, back 1 somersault, 1.5 twist free, 2.3 degree of difficulty. Four and a half, and 5. Next up is Chloe Arness for the Raiders, 303B, reverse 1.5 somersault, pike, 2.4 degree of difficulty. Great height on that dive as we get a 7, 6.5, and 7. And our final dive for the evening will be Shayla Murphy for the Zephyrs. 5.132D, forward 1.5 somersaults, 1 twist, free, 2.2 degree of difficulty. Seven and a half, 7-7. So Mahtomedi caps us off with an excellent dive here. We'll give it a quick minute to see if they get the scores updated quickly here on the board. We don't have the score updates quite yet, so why don't we throw it to a break and we'll update the team scores after our little intermission break.
All right, we can get the whole back together.
So, excuse us, those scores on our screen are actually incorrect. Those were out of intermission scores. So we'll try to get the updated scores later for you. But we'll take a quick break. Thanks for joining us, everybody. You're watching Swim and Dive here on HCTV Sports. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Push that trash that way, not this way. Come on.
Oh, hey there. Do you like HCTV?
That's one small step for Hastings and one giant leap for community television.
Do you want a custom video that promotes your business or organization and gives you the results you're looking for? As an HCTV sponsor, our staff will work with your business or organization to create a custom video to promote your brand. You also have an option of getting a shout out in every sporting event we cover. And that's 3 points for your business.
So support HCTV today!
Go to hastingstv.org/sponsors for more information or to give a one-time donation.
The United Heroes League mainly uses sports as a bridge to help military families stay active and engaged in their communities. We have over 40 professional teams that partner with us for free tickets and camps. We provide access to free sporting equipment.
UHL has provided us with a lot of equipment and a lot of gear that is otherwise sometimes hard to attain.
It's really cool. I get all this free stuff and It's because of my great dad who is a veteran.
UHL has been a great supporter, not just for our family, but for all the military families.
We're excited to see what the future holds. We can't wait to see where it goes.
But here is the difference for the class of 1990.
We went from mile high Eagles to
I know you're all excited about Y2K. You could lose power or party like it's 1999.
Hastings High School has been graduating seniors. This is the first commencement
Congratulations, class of 2023. Go Raiders!
Funding for community TV is in rapid decline, and HCTV will not survive without your help. Let your local representatives know that you support community TV. To learn more, visit savecommunitytv.com.
He gets the pin. What a move, what a goal! Oh, what a shot, scores! The Raiders, can they get the lift? Yes, they do.
Just snipes one.
Oh my God! And reaching up and making the play. It's moving! It's over!
Looking to throw, and she's going to get the first down.
One! Touchdown Raiders!
Welcome back into the Hastings Middle School pool. There's your updated score just out of intermission. Mahtomedi still holding that 44-34 lead after a strong diving performance from both squads. However, Mahtomedi took advantage too in those earlier races, just managing to claim those top spots. Raiders were consistently getting that second place spot, but Mahtomedi would take that consistently take the third and fourth places, adding to that team score. Narrowed the gap a little bit for the Raiders, but unfortunately still behind here, but a lot of races left to go here. To start us off, we'll lead off with the girls' 100-yard butterfly. No relay, just down and back twice on the JV side of things. And once again, if you're just joining us, we are about halfway through our event tonight. Thanks for joining us here on HCTV Sports, SCC TV, and on YouTube worldwide. Heard we had some viewers from across the country in Iowa. A fan came up, so thanks to everyone tuning in. So we're official lined up here for the 100-yard butterfly as the racers hit their starting block. And our swimmers are in the water. Kaden Butler in lane 1, Morgan Sitch lane 2, Amelia Kraus lane 3, Syphia Goodwin, Mary Schulk lane 5, and Madeline Sorensen in lane 6. And again, just a reminder for our as Goodwin hits the turn. Excuse me. Yeah, Goodwin's in the lead. Neck and neck race between lanes 2 and 3. That's Sitch and Kraus. As Mahtomedi JV squad going to take the first place spot. Actually, now it's lane number 4 lane number 5, Schulk, looking to claim that spot. But it is going to be the Raiders in lane number 3 and 5 getting those 2 and 3 spots. Finish the final leg of the JV heat. Again, if you're just joining us, JV will race first. Next, we move to the varsity portion, and you will quickly get a look here at our scoreboard on completion. So once again, thanks for joining us tonight as we get set for the varsity butterfly. Racers on the podium as we're set to go here. And we're into the water, so let's go through your lineups for this varsity heat. Mari Hall of the Raiders, lane 1. Ruby Roich, lane 2. Sophia Kovalenko, lane 3. Aria Armstrong, lane 4. Maddie Ritter, lane 5. And Maddie Ruppel, lane 6. And Raiders coming up to an early lead with Kovalenko. Not too far behind is Armstrong. We've seen them battling tonight in a couple other races here, but you can tell this stroke is a strong contender for the favorite in Kovalenko. Every swimmer has to know every stroke, but some are definitely have their preferences, and you can kind of tell from the matchup we saw earlier tonight, Kovalenko is working in stride. Lane number 5, Maddie Ritter is looking for that third place spot, as the Raiders will get that first place finish, followed by Armstrong in lane number 2. Raiders looking to claim that 3 spot, and they get it, so that should narrow the team score a little bit closer here for the Raiders as we await for our final swimmer, Mari Hall, who we just saw put on excellent showing diving not too long ago, so getting some experience. So again, excellent showing of races here. So next will be the 100-yard freestyle. So again, with it being 100 yards down and back twice, freestyle, it's swim as fast as you can, essentially. This time only Mahtomedi sending out a few swimmers here in this JV heat. Caroline Potger in lane 2, Claire Rinda lane 4, and Ada Torrey in lane number 6. So Mahtomedi exclusive JV race, so we'll see who can take this one here. Potger off to the early lead, but quickly gets passed by Torrey. Torrey starting to expand that lead to almost 2 swimmers' length. As well, too, really good crowd on hand, too, here at the Hastings Middle School pool. A little later in between races, we'll try to get a shot of it. But we have a full stands here in the middle school pool. Great to see the swimming culture alive here in Hastings, Minnesota. As, again, gap getting narrowed a little bit by Potger. Torrey still has about half a swimmer's length lead. Good push off the wall should cement this victory. But Potger slowly closing the gap here. It's going to be close. And actually, Potger ended up taking it. Torrey led most of that race, but Potger with a good push and final effort at the end allowed her to kind of get ahead and steal that JV heat away. So next we'll move to the varsity side, 100-yard freestyle. And swimmers are in the water, so let's run through the lineup. Lane 1, Emery Malm, followed by Adeline Miller, Lila Salzman, Abigail Wright. Lane 5, Greta Larson. Lane 6, Claire Lane. So against Hastings, 1, 3, 5, Mahtomedi, 2, 4, and 6. Again, lane number 4 kind of coming ahead with the lead. That is Abigail Wright. Yeah, Mahtomedi in that lane 2 and 4, they've been able to just steal some points. Mahtomedi's team leading 51 to 43 still over the Raiders, and looking to kind of get back to that 10-point lead here if they can get that first and second place finish. So it's looking like Wright is going to win the race, but we've got a battle here between Miller and Salzman. Who's going to get it? I think it's going to be Miller, and Miller is going to get that second place spot. But the Hastings Raiders will claim that third place finish. So we'll hurt the Raiders a little bit here on the team score, but an ultra competitive race here. But you know who's not ultra competitive? Culver's of Hastings. Want to thank one of our supporters, Culver's of Hastings, one of the proud sponsors of HCTV Sports for this season. From savory butterburgers to sweet scoops of frozen custard, we've got something handcrafted for everyone. You can visit us at our location next to Cud Foods in Hastings. More information about the menu, other locations is available at culvers.com. Once again, thanks to all of our supporters of HCTV Sports. We need it. Takes a village to put on these games, and with PEG funding continuing to decline, we have to get creative so we can keep streaming these games for free for our audience. And if you want to help support HCTV, consider leaving us a donation at hastingstv.org/donate, or learn how you can help save community TV. We're trying to pass some legislation that would help save our funding. You can go to savecommunitytv.com as well to info on how you can help, contact local legislators, donations, and learn about other stations just like us. I know Mahtomedi fans, you guys have suburban community channels as a great resource. Help keep them on the air too. They cover all these games for free too on their YouTube channel. Just like us, we're neighbors. We trade games. When Hastings is at Mahtomedi, they'll give us games. We give them, obviously, the game tonight. So help keep this partnership alive here as we're set for the 500-yard freestyle race. And this one is the marathon of swimming, if you would. As this is, you're going to see a slower start from all of our swimmers in the pool, as you're going to need to save some energy for that final leg. Let's run through your race lineup. In lane 1, Hannah Hewer, followed by Riley Parzek. Lily Burks in lane 3, Rory Jewell in lane 4, Emma Leonard lane 5, and Avery Hensel in lane number 6. And this 500-yard freestyle is being dominated primarily by underclassmen, 9th, 8th, 9th, and 10th graders. We got one senior in Emma Leonard in lane 5 swimming in this race, but otherwise it's all underclassmen. Mahtomedi setting out there an 8th grader with Rory Jewell in this varsity lineup. Again, you can kind of see the tight battle in the middle 3 lanes here. Again, too early to call. Again, lane 3s is Parzek, Burks, and Jewell, so 2 through 4. Lane 2 looking to get a little bit of a lead here. Once again, that is Parzek. If you can see the teammates holding those cards into the water on your screen, those are to indicate how many laps have been completed and helps indicate to the swimmer how far they got left. So later in the race, you'll see when they have that red card or the red finish or red tape on it, that means they're on their final leg and they should give it all they have to get to the end of the line. And just hearing word, too, that tonight's soccer doubleheader versus Mahtomedi and Hill Murray has been postponed due to inclement weather. So unfortunately, no score updates from that game for the Mahtomedi fans. See if I can check any other sports in action tonight, as, again, still tighter lead, but Hastings starting to fall back into that 3rd place position. And again, different legs of the race, maybe trying to save some energy here. So there is strategy to it, trying to pace everything properly. Again, lane 3 getting that lead. That's Jewell. Other sports in action tonight for the Raiders. Tennis had a JV meet at Mahtomedi as well. Volleyball is up at Mahtomedi, taking on the Zephyrs as well. So I'll see if I can track down some scores from those games as well. Soccer, both at North St. Paul. Haven't heard on a cancellation on that one yet, but I will see what I can find. Again, starting to get towards the back half of the race here. Unfortunately, not seeing any streams on YouTube to get some score updates here, but as Mahtomedi still holding that strong lead with Jewell, and in second will be Parzek and Lily Burks in 3rd. So it's looking like Mahtomedi is going to extend that lead even more. Right now, team score sitting at 63-59 2:47 in favor of the Zephyrs. And coming into the swim meet tonight, I think the Raiders knew it would be kind of a tough task, but again, two top half of the conference teams, both strong swimming programs. Mahtomedi having a lot of success as a activities department in general. Strong volleyball team looking to punch back to the state tournament. I was on the call for that game against Chisago Lakes on SCC. So they're looking to punch their ticket back to the state tournament, and that looks pretty likely. Hastings Raiders got a strong girls soccer program looking to make a push. Their notable news, they dropped down to Section 2 AA. So that really creates a window for them to make a state tournament push. As you can hear the cowbell going off, that is the final indicator. You're on your last lap, so one more down and back, and this race will be over for Jewel. And looking like Jewel and Parazek are going to get some crucial points for the Zephyrs here. We approach that 6-minute mark on the clock as final swimmers also hitting their final laps as well. And that'll do it. Jewel will get the win. Parazek in second, and Burks will get that third place position. So Mahtomedi is doing an excellent job in the pool, claiming those top two positions in a lot of these races, getting, again, crucial team points tonight. As the final plethora of swimmers, it looks like Mahtomedi claimed up that fourth place finish with Avery Hensel as well, so Hastings will finish up with the 5th and 6th position. And again, really very important race for Mahtomedi to extend their lead even more. As again, lane 4 getting the victory here as we move back to our another JV heat as we have the 200 freestyle relay. Hastings will be putting out one team. Mahtomedi will be putting out two teams. As we look to get reset again, Mahtomedi having a very successful night, and for the Raiders, that deficit ballooned to 75-51. So gonna be a tough call here. Raiders got to be perfect the rest of the way through, but might be a little tough of a call to answer. As we have our swimmers in the water, let's run through your teams. In lane 1, team of Anslev Hagel, Amelia Kraus, Mari Hall, Kaden Butler in lane 2, Julia Goldshine, Morgan Sitch, Ada Torrey, Madeline Sorensen in lane 4, Julia Dehan, Caroline Potger, Maddie Hansen, and Jocelyn Parker. And just a reminder, the pool is 25 yards in length, so down and back is 50, so each swimmer will do one down and back. As we get our next swimmer for the Zephyrs into the water. A couple of Raiders making the swap as well. Again, Mahtomedi off to another lead here. Lane 1 kind of closing the gap though. Lane 4 kind of had their early lead, but so far trying to keep this one close. I believe Mari Hall just entered the water for the Raiders. And into the water for the Zephyrs, I believe, was Ada Torrey. Again, lane 1 kind of getting that bigger lead as we get ready for Kaden Butler to enter the water. Mahtomedi with the switch. Lane 4 looking to close the gap here. And she's getting there. Need a good turn for Kraus. Kraus does get a pretty good turn. She's going to have to turn on the jets here. Parker might have overtaken her. It's going to come down to the final touch at the wall. Who's going to get it? And the Raiders in this JV exhibition will take the race with the first place finish, with their only JV team going out there into the pool. Another strong JV exhibition. Thanks for joining us here on HCTV, SCC TV, YouTube Worldwide for the duel at the pool. Now we'll move to the varsity side of things here. Hastings only sending out 2 teams for this relay here, so only active lanes are 2 through 6. We'll run through your starting lineups here momentarily. We are underway here, so let's go through your order. In lane 2, Ruby Roich, Claire Lane, Avery Hensel, and Lena Gronowski. Sophia Kovalenko, Greta Larson, Maddie Ritter, and Chloe Arness. Lane 3, Delaney Dummermuth, Adeline Miller, Maddie Ruppel, Abigail Wright. Lane 4, Lane 5, Hannah Hewer, Jenna Arneson, Emery Malm, and Emma Leonard. And lane 6, Sophia Goodwin, Tori Harnish, Kiki Thiam, and Charlotte Boyum. A lot of underclassmen on the Zephyr team as lane 3 out to, again, another arm's length lead here. Again, this is a pretty quick down and back race here. Still tight there in the middle. Now lane 2 is kind of creeping up. So Hastings has to be careful here not to lose their second place spot. Gonna need a good follow through here off the block to keep this close. And the Raiders are in the water. Still close battle between lanes 2 and 3, but a great dive off the block from the Raiders. Looking like they're going to lock it up in lane number 4 with Abigail Wright. She's got a commanding lead right now, but it's up to Chloe Arness to keep this close against Gronowski. Gronowski's got that lead. Can the Raiders close the gap? And unfortunately, no. The Mahtomedi Zephyrs once again claiming the top 2 spots, and again, that's just devastating for the team scorer, and that should just about lock it up here for the Zephyrs. But still a lot of races to be had tonight, so stay with us here the rest of the way. We still have a couple more JV heats. But while we have a pause in the action, we want to thank one of our other supporters, the Hastings Spool House. The Spool House, let us suit your formal wear needs. More information can be found at thespoolhouse.com/sewing.html. Once again, thanks to all of our supporters. And again, if you got a tear in that wedding dress, tear in that suit, tear in any of your shoes, call up the Spool House and they can get that fixed up for you. Heck, even if you're from Mahtomedi, come on down here. They'll do a good job. They'll do a good job for you. So next up in the lineup will be the 100-yard backstroke for JV. And once again, there are 2 heats of this JV event. We saw it earlier, but this first event is going to be purely Mahtomedi swimmers. Then we'll start to see the full Hastings Mahtomedi matchup in the second heat. And then we move to the varsity backstroke, the JV breaststroke, followed by the varsity, and then we end with a final relay to conclude our night. So getting near the end here, folks. Thanks for hanging out with us. So running through your lineup here, Julia DeHaan in lane 3, Maddie Hansen in lane 4, Ada Tori in lane 5. Again, Mahtomedi purely in this race, 2 through 5. Lane number 2 or 3 coming out to an early lead here. DeHaan. She'll be the first to hit the wall and make the turn. And DeHaan with a commanding lead, about a swimmer's length, a little more, swimmer's length and a half. Once again, if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to let us know where you're watching from, who you're rooting for. We'll make this enjoyable event for everybody. That's what we do as a PEG station. As the race will conclude, and DeHaan will take the dub. And in lane number 2, Goldshine. And excuse me, they might have cut a racer off my lineup sheet. So I apologize for that. They must have cut a racer in lane number 5. So once again, we got a second JV heat coming up here. This time Hastings will have some swimmers out there. Mahtomedi, a big swim team, so that's why they're kind of getting that extra heat added into tonight's event. Now Coach Katie McAlpin having a chat with one of the officials. Probably a quick point of clarification. Coach Katie, the head coach for both boys and girls swim and dive. So here we are. Let's go through your second JV heat. Ainsley Hagel, followed by in lane 3, Sydney Iverson, Kevlin Konpanya, Ray Wojcik, and Jocelyn Parker in lane 6. No racer in lane number 2. They must have striked Kiki Thiam from the race lineup. So, but Mahtomedi off to a commanding lead here in the JV heat. Iverson, or no, excuse me, Konpanya, excuse me, I apologize for butchering that last name, and if you watch back on this stream, I am going to be sorry about that. It's off to a commanding lead here. Mahtomedi in the blue caps with the navy suit. Raiders in the yellow caps with the blue suit. Thank goodness they didn't do 2 blue suits, or 2 blue caps. It'd have to be pretty tricky with the blue and gold caps looking the same. As lane number 4 will claim the victory for Mahtomedi in this JV heat. And now in lane number 3, Sydney Iverson will get that 3rd place finish. 2nd place is awarded to Jocelyn Parker in lane number 6. And waiting for a couple of Raiders to finish up their heats as Ray Wojcik and Ainsley Hagel finish up. their events here. So that'll conclude the JV heats for the 100-yard backstroke. We'll now switch over to the varsity heat for the 100-yard backstroke. So let's run through your lineup for this 100-yard backstroke. Again, once another reminder, Hastings 135, Mahtomedi 246. So Aaliyah Clark in lane number 1, Rory Jewell lane number 2, Emma Demlow lane number 3, Riley Perzek in lane number 4, Lily Burks in lane number 5, and Danny Baker in lane number 6. So here we go. Race underway here. Hastings with the lead here in lane number 3. That's Emma Demlow. Demlow's got a pretty solid lead over a compatriot in lane number 4, Parzek. Again, down and back one time is all you need here. And Hastings, good lead here, looking to try to get that second place finish too. In lane number 2, Rory Jewell and Lily Burks at odds here. Jewell having the advantage over our lane 2 Raider, but close enough to make a change here, both at the wall. Hastings now has stretched that lead. We should win this event with Emma Demlow with the commanding lead. Still tight for that third place finish. That would give us some good points here. But it's looking like the Zephyrs do have the edge. And actually, it ended up Hastings got, in lane number 5, got the 5th place spot, because in lane number 6, Danny Baker was kind of sneaking up on everybody too. Kind of where I don't have the best sight line, you know, because I'm blocked a little bit by the Mahtomedi bench, but Raiders get some big points there with a first place finish from Emma Demlow. Mahtomedi claims that second and third place, so fortunately a little bit out of reach for the Raiders here as the score balloons to 87-53. But now we move forward to our final JV heat of the night. This will be the 100-yard breaststrokes, and Mahtomedi is the only team competing once again. We wait to get reset. Officials just checking everything over. Once again, thanks for joining us, everybody. We appreciate having you along for the ride. We'll go over our upcoming broadcast schedule as we have a Mahtomedi swimmer doing the Macarena to the left. Unfortunately, our cameras just missed it here, but we'll go over our upcoming broadcast schedule at the end of the broadcast, but I can tell you our next swim meet is scheduled for the 30th against Eastridge here at home. I'll be back on the call for that one. Ian directing, Max on camera, and then I'll have to wait to crew out the rest of the month, so we'll see who else gets added to that game, but keep you all posted. As we are underway here, let's run through your lineup. Lane 2, Claire Rinda, followed by Tori Harnish and Charlotte Boyum. The 7th grader in lane 6. Again, looks like Rinda Claire coming out head with a lead, but a great push off the wall from Harnish. Evens up the big gap there. Harnish and Rinda fighting for it here. Now kind of getting back in front is Rinda. Again, gonna need another big push here from Harnish if she wants to narrow the gap. Boyum still in third place, but still swimming hard, giving her all, and that's what, at the end of the day, is most important. Harnish looking to narrow the gap. And it looks like Rindell's going to take this JV heat. It's another good showing from the Mahtomedi Zephyrs JV squad. Getting a lot of valuable experience tonight. That's the one benefit to doing those JV heats, is getting reps for, you never know, next swimmer up. And you might see her sometime in the starting lineup as we're set for the varsity breaststroke. And then we will end the night with the girls 400-yard free. So everyone will do 100 yards. So we have our swimmers in the water. Let's run through your lineup. Jenna Arneson, followed by Delaney Dummermuth. Maddie Ritter, lane 3. Lena Granofsky, lane 4. Lane 5, Chloe Arnes. Claire Lane, lane 6. 1-3-5 Raiders. 1-2-4-6 Zephyrs. Looks like the Raiders off to a narrow lead, but pretty tight between Ritter and Granofsky. It's going to come down to the wire. Actually, we've got a three-way tie here. Dummermuth, Ritter, and Granofsky keeping this all close. Looks like the Raiders still have the edge here. Raiders, a good push from the Zephyrs, narrowing the gap. It's neck and neck once again. Raiders gonna have to give that little extra inch. Crowd getting loud. Who's gonna get it here? We will see if it's gonna be a photo finish, and the Raiders do get that first place spot with Maddie Ritter Granofsky coming in second, and then Dummermuth coming in third. As you'll see on your screen, the times and placements again: Raiders 1-3-5, 2-4-6 Zephyrs. And again, Mahtomedi has this meet pretty much locked up, but again, great showing from the Raiders to claim some points here late. As we now move to our final event of the night, the girls 400-yard freestyle relay. Again, down and back twice, and then your next swimmer comes into the water. So down and back. No, excuse me, they got to go back a few times. I can't math. It's 25 yards down and back, so they'll each have to do 100 of that length. So apologize, math was never my subject. Again, that's why I was a creative major in college. Here we go. We'll go through your race lineups here momentarily. So going through your race lineup here in lane 1 with the Raiders: Kaden Butler, Sydney Iverson, Amelia Kraus, Ray Wojcik, followed by Mahtomedi, Danny Baker, Rory Jewell, Avery Hensel, Riley Perizek. Raiders again: Lila Salzman, Emma Demlo, Emma Leonard, and Sophia Kovalenko. Lane 4, Mahtomedi, Adeline Miller, Aria Armstrong, Maddie Ruppel, Abigail Wright. Lane 5, Raiders: Hannah Hewer, followed by Mary Schulk, Lily Burks, and Aaliyah Clark. And then rounding out the Mahtomedi lineup in lane 6, Sophia Goodwin, Kiki Thiam, Evelyn Kumpanya, and Tori Harnish. Again, tight race between that 3 and 4 spot, but Mahtomedi coming away with it here. They just got a strong set of swimmers here, and again, making sense why they got, I think tonight has really shown why they got added to that maroon and gold invite at the Gophers facility earlier this season. Again, one of the longer races we cap off the night with. And commanding lead for the Zephyrs. A lot of the swimmers are kind of spaced out, so in placements, it goes lane 4 in first, lane 3 in second, and lane 2 in third. And Mahtomedi is off to a commanding lead. That's the final lap for our third swimmer in lane number 4. As Mahtomedi now has their final swimmer on the board, on the block, I should say. Same with the Raiders. And it's looking like Mahtomedi is going to take the, oh no, excuse me, I have one more. Got a little ahead of myself. Panya in the water for the Zephyrs. Now we got Kovalenko in the water for the Raiders. No, excuse me, I was correct. It is Kovalenko in the water for the Raiders, so it is, I would have done a, no, this is Abigail Wright in for, excuse me. Apologize, getting a little ahead of myself on this swim sheet. First one of the year, so I'm kind of ironing out some kinks on my announcing side of things. As Wright is going to seal the deal here for the Mahtomedi Zephyrs. And they will lock in that first place finish. Hastings trying to clinch that second place finish. And they will with Kovalenko hitting the wall. Looking like lane number 2 is going to earn that second place finish with Riley Parzek. As we got a few more lanes in action. A couple of Raiders looking to try and clinch that 4th and 5th place spot. Lane 1 looking like we got Wojcik. In lane 5, we've got Clark, as it looks like Wojcik and then Clark, and then we round it out with Tori Harnish. So with, actually no, lane 1 saw another swimmer, I apologize. And that will be Ray Wojcik. Excuse me, you just saw Amelia Kraus in the water. Teammates cheering her on for a strong finish here tonight. Again, tough conference meet tonight, but the Mahtomedi Zephyrs all over the Hastings Raiders tonight with a pretty commanding lead most of the way. We will, before we say our goodbyes tonight, we will await the final scores and give you a preview of what's to come next on HCTV Sports. So stay tuned after the match for that information. If not, you can always check out our broadcast schedule at hastingstv.org/sports. We have a list view of our schedule there 24/7, 7 days a week. So feel free to check it out there. And we'll also update any changes to our social media plan as we await our final swimmer here in Wojcik, the 7th grader looking to cross the finish line. And she'll hit the wall. So again, that'll wrap up our swim and dive meet here. We'll show you a quick glance of the final scores, or the final race times. So while we're waiting the final score, Let's run through our upcoming broadcasts here. Upcoming broadcast schedule, soccer doubleheader on the 23rd versus Simley. Then on the 26th for homecoming, we got football versus Two Rivers. We will be streaming the coronation beforehand, so stay tuned for the YouTube link on that. Then we're back here for Girls Swim and Dive versus Eastridge on the 30th, and then we have another soccer doubleheader versus the Zephyrs. So Zephyr fans, if you left early, we will be covering you again not too long from now, so stay tuned for that. And we do have our final score. It will be 96-85 in favor of the Mahtomedi Zephyrs. And again, hard-fought battle from the Hastings Raiders, but again, tough Mahtomedi team coming into this one tonight. And again, Mahtomedi is so loaded top to bottom on so many different teams. Swimming, volleyball, girls and boys soccer. Football, they're always a powerhouse. They're always consistent, you know. So Mahtomedi is always a tough team to face coming into your home pool, but overall, pretty fun, exciting night, competitive from both teams, and we always look forward to seeing Mahtomedi back. So thanks for joining us on HCTV, and thanks for joining us on HCTV Sports. Let's give a shout out to our production crew one more time. I'm Hunter Pinky, sports producer / director and announcer. Ian doing the switching and directing tonight, and then Max Slocum, Will Celine, and Avery Cheeseman on the cameras. And thanks again to the Spoolhouse and Culvers of Hastings for supporting us. Final score, once again, 96-85 in favor of the Mahtomedi Zephyrs. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We will see you next time on HCTV Sports.